many years, hounded by hatred and trapped by fear. I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black babies in the womb, shackled and bound, chained by the caveman who keeps beauty down, smacked on the ass when they're squalling and wet. Heir to a spineless man who never forgets, never forgets that he's a prisoner. Can't you hear my plea? 'Cause I need.
Peace and love. Welcome again to the NEPPC podcast. I'm Brother Frank, and I'm with former political prisoner
Abdul Hafiz Long.
Welcome to Black August. This is day number 7 of Black August. This is Black August 2024. For those who don't know, Black August started with political prisoner of consciousness, George Jackson. George Jackson had made a transition from being a criminal to a revolutionary. He was awarded the position of field marshal in the Black Panther Party for self-defense. The field marshal position is a very important position in the organization because you are responsible for providing people or comrades, members in the organization with various tasks. So, you know, a lot is riding on your decision and your decision making. So we want to deal with that. And when you're talking about Black August, you're talking about this is the time where you're supposed to fast. This is the time where you're supposed to exercise. This is the time where you're supposed to study. This is a time where you're supposed to make a stronger commitment to the struggle of a people's liberation. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Black August 2024. What does it mean? Why is it important? Why is it powerful? Right? We're still dealing with the same issues that those who came before us were dealing with. People who were involved with the Black Panther Party, people who were involved with the Black Liberation and other progressive organizations, grassroots organizations who understood the importance of what needed to be done, why it needed to be done, and how much time they had to get it done, right? Because another generation is coming into being. And as you're struggling, as you're organizing, as you are making gains and experiencing some losses or some lessons rather, that generation is developing and they're watching, they're observing, they're absorbing all the things that you are providing them with in terms of ideas and even actions, right? Because the actions are expressions of ideas, correct or not. So let's deal with that today. Let's talk. We encourage you to please like, please share. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. And consider a donation. No donation is too small. No donation is too large. Let us know what you want to do, what you want us to do with the donation. The donation could provide banners where we could provide open letters to communities and develop relationships in those communities regarding political prisoners. We could provide political prisoners with commissary, people like Joy Powell, who is a diabetic because of being in prison. She needs particular nutritious meals, and she can only get that through commissary, which can only be provided for her through her having money. So, brother, your views on Black August and its importance.
Black Power, brothers and sisters. Black August, full of powerful and beautiful meaning for our people, for resistance, for being strong, for standing up, for not bowing down to nothing. You understand? To expressing the full extent of our possibilities and our potential, to have a feeling of pride and strength, of never giving up. George Jackson, be like him. When we think of George Jackson, George Jackson, the centerpiece of Black August, a symbol of resistance, a brother whose personality, you understand, was strong and tall, like a mountain, standing up, brothers like George Jackson, political prisoners in the very, very depths of the penitentiaries, you understand, outgunned 1,000,000 to 1. The enemy having millions and millions of guns, bombs, helicopters, atomic bombs, and people in the penitentiary. George Jackson allegedly had one gun, in the penitentiary. The most that someone might have is a knife made out of a chair like this. This part right here, taken out and to make a knife. That's the most weapon that a prisoner might have. When we was in jail, we manufactured about 270, what they call shanks in the penitentiary. While the enemy, had all type of guns and airplanes, machine guns, and all that. So in spite of being outnumbered 1,000,000 to 1, people like George Jackson still allowed themselves to stand up and resist. You understand? And to demand their respect. To demand to be treated like human beings. Demanded their rights. In spite of everything. This is a shining example, and this is something that our people can benefit from. We talk about the lumpen proletariat in our communities, those who are, kind of have a little lack of understanding. We have a history of those type of brothers and sisters being won over to a political action, to revolution. Revolution is a strong drink for our people, to fill us with the fire of standing up, the fire of who we really are. You understand? This is a very, very beautiful thing, and we have an example, in the struggle and the stand took by George Jackson, for which he lost his life, being a warrior and having that warrior spirit and reading the words of George Jackson, and being inspired to study, and having the revolutionary ideas growing in the community. We have a realm of ideas that go all the way from being very, very submissive, tender, and not fighting back and getting kicked all in the behind, and crying, boo-hoo, and all that, and all the way to the very, very powerful, you understand, mountains of men and women, you understand, who oppose the system, and brother Comrade George being foremost among that, being a template, an example, for our people to live up to, and we encourage more and more of our people to study the history and the words of revolutionaries like George Jackson, to study our revolutionary writers, like Imam Jamil Al-Amin, Kwame Nkrumah, and all those other brothers and sisters, who stood up and fought, and to give muscle to that spirit among our people in our liberation fight, and to never be denied our humanity, to fight for our rights. Right now in the world, just relating, what we're talking about today, the need to be very, very strong, to have that discipline that fasting brings, and not to, become an animal to our lower desires, make us want to steal, you understand, and, become selfish and, betray our own people, and all these type of things that can come about. But, to chop them things down, you understand, and to be powerful human beings, we encourage our people, to take up the revolutionary struggle, you understand, and to understand, the revolutionary philosophy, and to let this grow in our communities, and to love it, and once again to share these ideas to those who are rebellious against the system. Like I said in the past, many of these type of brothers and sisters have been won over to revolution and to a true expression of their humanity, and have broken away from being enemies against their own people, and becoming warriors against a state of murder, oppression. Right now, we see a presidential campaign coming up where both candidates in this this election coming up, supported genocide, murdering innocent people, murdering millions of innocent people, and this is the system that we live in. One another thing in the news right now, they're talking about Venezuela, and they talking and what's happening. We see in the news U.S. trying to steal the oil of Venezuela, the richest oil reserves in the whole world. So, as we said before, when very, very valuable mineral resources are at hand, that's when the horns of the devil really come out, and they're trying to say that the election in Venezuela has been rigged. They said that before it even happened. We got far right-wing racist groups down there who are becoming violent, and their violence being combated, by the forces in Venezuela, and America, is on the side of the far right-wing forces there, trying to steal the richest resources in the world. So right now, I'm saying that to say that this is the system that we're living under, and the spirit of Black August must be in us, you understand, in this this atmosphere, it is very, very necessary for us to be very, very strong and powerful and upright, and to resist everything that comes against us, and to never give up, and to understand that through revolution and through spreading the revolutionary ideas, that indeed we're going to win.
Absolutely, brother. And so this platform is about political prisoners having a voice, and making sure that as we go about our daily activities, that we remember those who fought for us and those who continue to fight for us. Because Reverend Joy Powell, while she's in prison, she's letting us know about what's going on in the prison. And when I asked her about her views on Black August, she said that Black women are the most disrespected women on the planet, or people on the planet. And she's very bothered by what happened in the prison that she's in. She's in Brentford Hills Correctional Facility for women, and she said that a white officer had punched a female prisoner in the face and in the body, damn near killed her. Because of that, the prison population responded. There was an uprising. She was very bothered by that. And her statement with Black women being the most disrespected people on the planet was basically letting me know that Black men had to do a better job with respecting them and protecting them. How do we do that is the question that I ask to the viewers as well as myself. I would say first that we have to have better communication with one another. We have to see each other as part of the same people, as part of the same nation, as part of the same community. In doing that, we recognize the power in the collective. We recognize your problem being mine and our problem being ours, and we have to come up with solutions together. But we must have a serious understanding of what's happening, and we must learn from history, and we must draw on those historical references so that we can be encouraged and empowered. And that's the importance of Black August. It's a time that you reflect on who you are and what you're supposed to be doing. It's always about action. It's always about understanding what's the correct way forward. So one of the things that we want to ask our viewers is to please, if you have a connection with social media or connection with media that properly represents common people, have them check into this matter that happened at Brentford Hills Correctional Facility. Tell them that the media needs to go and talk to prisoners and find out what happened. Let the taxpayers know what's going on in that prison, because they have to be responsible, accountable to the people who they get their money from, which are the taxpayers. Because we could shut that prison down anytime we want. All we have to do is commit ourselves to a particular action as taxpayers, because there's power in labor, and we have to recognize that, because that's the only thing that these capitalists understand is what's going to interrupt their profit, and that's when they're seriously concerned. So we have to keep that in mind. We have to continue to study. We have to continue to express ourselves in a number of ways. I know that the brother mentioned history of August and these historical references that need to be reflected upon. The Haitian Revolution, what was done, why it was done, what can we learn from it, and what more work we have to do. Nat Turner, right, his sacrifices that he made, and what does that mean for us, right? How do we respect his legacy? Do we respect his legacy? DC. Yes. Watts Uprising. Yeah, the Watts Uprising. Yeah. Those are people who had the courage to fight back. And there's nothing wrong with fighting back. If something is wrong, you have to decide what you're going to do, and you have to decide how far you're willing to go. Because sometimes we can fight back, right? And we still don't achieve that objective, but we still should feel inspired from fighting back. And because now we have to look at what we've done and how much more we have to do, but we don't stop fighting. We don't stop fighting. Why? Because the problem still exists. And because if we don't do it, somebody else is going to suffer more. And we don't want another generation to come into being and have to deal with the problems that we're currently dealing with. One of the things that the Black Panther Party had done is they fought back, right? This is an incredible book that should be in every household. I have to get it myself. I'm currently able to look at it because of the location where I'm at right now. But this book needs to be in your house. It needs to be discussed with the family, because it focuses on comrade sisters, the women in the Black Panther Party, and their contribution, their importance, and we should be inspired. So when Joy said what she said, it was important that I raise this book to today's viewers and ask you to please share, please have those discussions in your household about the need for us to protect women, our Black sisters, our Black women, and the need for this to be something that we hold at a high standard, because that high standard determines our culture. It determines how we're going to move forward as a people. And we should understand that we have that responsibility to those who came before us and those who are going to come after us. So when we talk about Black August and we're talking about what needs to be done and we're talking about why it needs to be done, this is a serious matter. So we salute our brother, our comrade, our martyr, George Jackson, for what he was able to do, because he didn't just talk the talk, he talked the talk and walked the walk. He knew that to be taken seriously, you had to be on the front line. You had to be willing to be on the front line. You know, you can't be giving people tasks and you're not willing to do that. You know, you're exploiting people who love you, people who look to you for leadership and guidance. And that's something that I have a lot of respect for George by doing that. You know, he documented his ideas in books. They made documentaries on him. And I think that these documentaries need to be discussed and viewed as political education, and so should his writings, because I know it was through his writings that I was able to internalize the idea of what it means to be revolutionary, a professional revolutionary, that this is your life. This is what you are prepared to do for the duration of your life. And, you know, it's not popular with everybody because it is something that you have to stand on, and you might not have as many people as you would like to standing on this with you. But yet and still, right is right and wrong is wrong, right? You don't do things because it's popular, you do things because it's correct. And that's one of the things that I respected with Martin Luther King, because of his character, because him being a man of principle, regardless of what you might say, you know, he still was not afraid. You know, people like him and people like our political prisoners, you know, to them, death is not that scary, right? Some people are so scared of the concept of death that they become paralyzed. They're unwilling to do anything because of the consequences of death, quote unquote. But our political prisoners and our martyrs taught us that there is something that needs to be fought for, that doesn't have to do with how you see death. Death should never be that scary. So when we talk about Black August and we talk about what needs to be done, we have to talk about the example that we're setting for our children, because our children want answers that they can understand, answers that is going to make them feel courageous, make them feel like they can go on, make them feel happy about their day. You know, how do we do that? When you're talking to a 3-year-old, how do you tell a 3-year-old that they have to stand up for themselves, that they have to be responsible for what happens, for how they respond to what's happening to their people, right? Obviously, at 3-year-old or 4-year-old, 5 years old, you know, we only expect but so much. But we were once that age, right? And that time took place, and we had to make some decisions as adults. So those children are not going to be children for much longer, right? You know, today's children, tomorrow's adults. And we got to look at them like that. And we got to decide, you know, how do we want them to lead us? Because they're going to lead us, whether we prepared for them to lead us or not. It's just the way time goes on and things are going to happen. And we have to make sure we make that connection with what our responsibility is and what we intend to do with it. Brother, while you were incarcerated and Black August would come, what was it like while you were in the inside during Black August?
As always, you know, it was a time, you know, for self-improvement, for rededication, you know, to the struggle, you know, for reading, you know, for understanding, to get those historical lessons, you know, the oppression, to oppose oppression and injustice, you know, to stand up tall, you know, and to never, you know, bow down and crawl across the floor and be all submissive. There were some prisoners, who were like that, but others, who were revolutionary, who would stand up, brothers, and the female, like Sister Joy, stand up sisters, who didn't take no stuff off us, from the system or from nobody, we had a feeling of power in us, and August being a time to look back on history, on those historical examples and the meaning that it gave to us. This meaning, you understand, became very, very powerful, very, very significant in us, as we walked the halls during the daytime and as we contemplated and studied at night, So Black August is a time, to win again and again, to triumph over everything that the enemy throws at us. And without a doubt, ain't nothing going to stop us. Ain't nothing going to hold us back. And again, we're going to win. What's the call? We're going to free them all.
So as we deal with Black August, set your goal. Set a goal. Attend a political forum. Write to a political prisoner. They do right back. Organize something in your community. Take a stand. Take a position. Commit yourself to reading a book on political matters. There are a number of good books. If you don't know of one, we can recommend one. That's why we make sure we have these books available, because we want our people to understand what must be done. Just look at this. This is a brochure right here. We still charge genocide. It was the International Tribunal in 2024, less than 3 years ago. And it was great. It was powerful. It was inspiring. We got to commit ourselves to organized action, because that's the only way that our change is going to happen. And it was significant, and it was important, it was powerful that this was an international tribunal, right? Because like Malcolm said, we want our views to be on the international stage for people everywhere across the planet Earth to understand what's going on where we're living at. So we have to take that very seriously. We have to be focused. We have to make a commitment to making that happen, because that is our reality. Our reality is that we're under attack. Our reality is that we need to fight back. We need to stand up, stand together, express solidarity. We have to expect the best from one another. We have to realize that it has to be organized action. It has to be thought out. It has to be thinking, what's the consequences? And what are we going to do today? And what are we going to do tomorrow and the day after? As we plan, if we accept a certain lifestyle that's about being accountable, then change is inevitable, right? Because in change that's in our favor, right? Because you can have different forms of change. You can have oppressive conditions change to more oppressive conditions. We want to be liberated. We want our freedom, which is uninterrupted self-determination, right? Meaning that we're going to control our own destiny, right? We have to be as simple and clear as possible. We have to politically mature, as Malcolm taught us, because that's what we need to do. And once you start to mature politically, then you start setting aside the petty differences. You start making it more rational than emotional, because that is what is necessary when we deal with political maturity, because people want to have discussions on political matters and they want to just engage in entertainment. They have no intentions on committing themselves to some organized action. We want to avoid that, because that's not productive. That's in fact counterproductive. George Jackson was about being productive. He was about doing what was necessary because he wanted to avoid being counterproductive, because he realized and understood very clearly the value of time, right? Today's second, is not going to be there tomorrow. And we know that. So let us start to understand that clearly. Let us start to do what's necessary. Let's have discussions with our children about political affairs. We're dealing with this election. They're probably being told to it amongst their friends. School is next month in some areas. In some areas, school is starting this month. So, school's right around the corner, and they have to be prepared for this next stage of their educational process. And we have to be right there with them. We have to let them know that, education starts at home. Then you go to the schools and you get additional education, and you go into your community and you get additional education. But home is where it starts at. Home is where we start to struggle for ideas that are going to have an impact on people around us, ideas that are going to keep us strong long term. So, you know, we're getting close to this closing minute. It's closing half an hour rather, you know, because we commit ourselves to this work. So please consider a small donation. No donation is too large. No donation is too small. And right before I leave, I just want to provide you with this QR code. We ask that you scan the QR code, you know, share with others and let others know that Joy Powell, right? She is currently in prison. She is a diabetic. She needs donations. She needs contributions so she can get the proper nutrition that she needs. Please scan this QR code. Take a screenshot of this QR code and share with your contacts. Let them know that Joy Powell is innocent. She is a political prisoner. She should not die in prison. We have the responsibility to bring her home. So those are my closing remarks. Brother, do you have your closing remarks before we shut it down?
Yeah, just a few things. Again, big respect to Sister Joy Powell. Respect to the women. You understand? You know, just to be honest, you know, men, you know, always, you know, we try to get ourselves together. You know, we dress a certain way to attract women. You know, we develop a certain type of character. You know, hoping that the women will like it. You know, so much respect to the sisters. You know, and I meant to mention earlier that you know, to the Muslims, that it is evident in the world right now, in the news right now, is evident that America is an enemy to Islam. America is an enemy to the Muslims. America is an enemy to Allah. You understand? And that the Muslims need to be very, very political. When I say very, very political, the enemy is going to try to say I'm talking about, you know, blowing up civilians, killing babies and stuff like that. But no, I'm saying Islam say that when you are attacked in a war, that you don't harm civilians. You know, that you don't harm innocent civilians, women, or the children, you know, and that you treat the prisoners of war with humanity, you know, and when you do that, you are a stark contrast to the way the imperialists, you know, and the Zionists are treating their prisoners of war, you know. You know, you conduct yourself in a very, very humane way, you know, and you know, you stand up, and yet we have to have a very, very strong anti-colonial, you know, against just standing up for what is righteousness, you know, you know, there's much work that we got to do. And so the fire, you understand, that's in us, you know, from the reality of what's happening today has to be converted into steel. They say that the hottest fire produces the strongest steel. So the steel is the work that we got to put in, you understand, against the enemy of all humanity, you know. So I say that, you know, part of that fight is to free all our political prisoners, you know, who embody these very, very strong ideas, you know, all the way from Comrade George, you know, to all the rest of our political prisoners and prisoners of war. So what's the call? Free them all.